Hi guys! So yesterday we spoke about why we are doing 30 Days Wild, so we are going to introduce you to one of our first animals. So this here is Kevin the kestrel. Just excuse him, he is eating his lunch, so we'll hide that away. So this is Kevin, and he is a common kestrel that you find in the UK. However, they are not only in the UK, you can find them in Asia and you can also find them in Africa, so they are very widespread. But kestrels are going to be our conservation work as a company at Zoo to You for the next couple of years, because they do unfortunately need our help. So Kevin here is an incredible bird. These are the second most common bird of prey species that you can find in the UK. The first one in the buzzard, and we'll be looking at the buzzard in a couple of weeks. But first we're going to show you a couple of photos of some wild kestrels that people have been taking photographs from. These are all over the UK, lots of different locations. You can find common buzzards, common kestrels out and about on a nature walk as well if you go out during the right time. So have a look at these photos, let me know what you think, and then we will crack on with telling you lots of fun and interesting facts about the European common kestrel. Them photos were amazing, weren't they guys? These are just people sat in the gardens taking photos, having a bit of fun and enjoying the British native wildlife, which is exactly what we want to try and encourage you guys to do. So like we said, we are looking at the European kestrel today. So Kevin the kestrel here is a perfect example of a male kestrel, and the reason we know this is because he has a fabulous grey tail that you can see just here, and he also has a grey head. The female kestrels you saw on our launch video for 30 Days Wild, because you met Kiki, so they have these brown speckled spots all over them, so they don't have the grey tail or the grey head. So that is the best way to tell the difference between a male and female kestrel. So these guys are known as hovering hunters because whenever most people see kestrels, you see them hovering above the ground like this before they are about to dive and eat their food. So that is why they are called hovering hunters. It's a really good and interesting nickname and very, very accurate for these guys. They are really important. So what do you think our kestrels eat the most? Now Kevin here has some chicken. He loves his chicken, I'm not gonna lie, but he won't find chicken out in the wild, will he? And things like pheasants and stuff are a little bit too big for him to catch. So Kevin here is naturally a vole specialist, so he would spend all his time eating voles. If he can't find any voles, he would also find small mice, small birds, baby birds in nests. He kind of is an opportunistic feeder, so if he sees something and he's a bit peckish, he will go and catch it. For these guys to survive throughout the day, they need to eat quite a few voles or mice throughout the day to have enough energy to fly around to hunt. So it's really important that they live in an area where your vole populations are really high. So most places that have really high vole populations is countryside fields, farmland. You do see them come into urban areas occasionally, but your best bet is to go into the countryside if you want to go and spot a kestrel. So it's really, really important for them. That's nice, isn't it, Kevin? Okay, so they have quite a few hunting techniques, but the most common one is where they would fly against the wind and they will hover with their tail feathers and their wings, and that's how they hover. They're going against the wing and they're fluttering their wings slightly just to stay exactly still so that they can determine where their food is. Once he's determined exactly where his dinner is, he is going to swoop down and catch it in his talons like most birds of prey do, and then he's going to fly away. Kevin here would not eat his food on the ground because that makes him very vulnerable. So he would pick it up, fly away back into a tree or a nice fence post or something that has a high view so that he can see around him, and then he can eat his food. So you can see as he's taking a bite of his chick here, he is then also looking around to make sure nothing is around him to scare him. So it's really intelligent. These guys have changed and evolved so well to survive in the UK. Now, what do you think might take food from Kevin? there is so many things. Buzzards and peregrine falcons steal food from Kevin, and they also predate on kestrels, so Kevin has to be very alert at all times. I can guarantee all of you have seen a buzzard once in your life. They are double the size of Kevin here, and they catch literally whatever they can. Anything that flies above Kevin's head is seen as a predator. It's dangerous, so he's always looking up to make sure he is safe. So it's really important. Another thing that these guys are known to do in the wild is to steal food from barn owls. So you've all seen a barn owl. If you've been watching our Facebook page, you've met Bo, our beautiful new female barn owl. So barn owls, they sit on fence posts, determine where food is, and then swoop down and catch it. Kevin here is much faster and much smaller than a barn owl, and he's more agile, so he can come in and steal the food from the barn owl's grip. And he can fly off much quicker than our barn owl can follow. So they would also sometimes steal food. It depends how hungry they really are. It's very rare it happens, but if they haven't managed to catch a vole during the day, then he is going to steal one at night. So it's really important that he has the correct diet so that he can have as much energy to run around and fly around to get what needs to be done. So these guys have incredible eyesight as well. So Kevin can be flying roughly 50 meters in the air and see a beetle on the ground. So that is very impressive. They also can see in ultraviolet. So you guys can sort of see in ultraviolet when the sun hits something like a magpie. You see the little blue hints on their feathers. Kevin's is much better. He can see urine from a mouse that has been left behind because it looks bright purple to him because the sun's hitting it, and he can use that urine trail to find exactly where that mouse is. So it's really good for him when he's hunting. And also our kestrels are breeders in the UK, so we have roughly 160,000 breeding pairs of kestrels in the UK. So in the UK, under the RSPB bird registry, they are classed as an amber species. So this means that they're not severely in danger that they desperately need our help, but it means if they continue to carry on the way they are, unfortunately they will become red, in danger, and need lots and lots of help to get back up on the population scale. So amber means that if we start helping them now, there's a high chance that they won't decline severely. We might be able to get their population to increase slightly. These guys are also globally in decline in Africa and Asia as well. They're classed as least concern, but they are declining rapidly, so we need to start helping these guys out. So when these guys nest, they don't build a nest like most birds do. They go into crevices in the trees, little holes. You'll find them in cliffs. Some people in flats find them in their plant pots. So they won't build a nest, they will make use of what they've got around them. So unfortunately, because of agricultural use and building houses, these guys are struggling to find places to nest. Nesting is insanely important for them because the female can lay 3 to 5 eggs a year. So that's 3 to 5 extra young being produced every year to help these guys thrive and survive. So we want to make sure that there is lots of nesting places for them, and that's where Zoo2You comes in. So through this year we are going to be building kestrel nest boxes. We have been working alongside a company called Raptor Aid that goes out and does it as well. And our nest boxes are going to be available for purchase soon. So if you purchase one, we will come and pop it up in your garden if you have the appropriate location for a nest. And then we would also come and check it yearly during breeding time. So we want to make sure that we are monitoring these species to help them, okay? And that is what's most important. So that is Zoo2You's goal this year, to create nesting sites for these guys and then monitor them throughout the year. So they have lots of places to nest. I drive to work and I see at least 2 kestrels every day. So I know that there's lots around us and they just need that little bit of extra help from us. So these guys are also things that they need to worry about is unfortunately being shot. Okay, some people don't like birds flying in the sky, they don't like kestrels, they don't like buzzards, they see them as pests. Even though these guys are second in the food chain, so they are a secondary consumer, and things would still hunt them, people just aren't really appreciating them in certain areas and unfortunately shooting them out the sky. People also do this for fun as well, unfortunately. They shoot birds, it's a game to them, they enjoy doing it. So we want to try and reduce that. So we're trying to give them a safe place to be, and also so that they have a safe place to nest at night time. They also have quite a few other predators, so foxes unfortunately catch kestrels, we've said buzzards, we've said peregrines, unfortunately people's cats also catch kestrels, these guys. Sometimes they do like to sit slightly lower on the tree branches. Cats love to climb and try and catch fun birds. I'm sure if you have a cat you know exactly how they feel. And another big thing for these guys is secondary poisoning. So these guys eat rodents. Rodents are the main part of their diet. People that put out rat poison for rats because they don't want rats in their area. Unfortunately mice are eating them, and so are voles, and then Kevin here would catch his vole and unfortunately he would get poisoned by it too. Now he cannot survive that poisoning, it will kill him. So if you want to get rid of rats or mice or something from your back garden, instead of putting down a poison, talk to a pest control guy who is able to catch them and relocate them or get rid of them for you. It's much safer, and you're also helping out our British native wildlife. So if you want to see a kestrel, my advice is to either go out nice and early in the morning so that it's not too hot, especially with this weather, or go out in the evening and go for a countryside walk. You would see them hovering for food. Kestrels are not going to be out in the middle of the day in the scorching heat that we are having right now, because they will get too hot, they would overheat, they would burn energy much quicker, so they will choose times to hunt. They would choose different times to hunt so that they are much cooler, okay? And that is what we want. So thank you very much for listening about me and Kevin and the importance of kestrels. Don't forget, you can also help them as well. You can either donate to us so that we can build our kestrel boxes, or you can purchase your own kestrel box from us and we can have it put up somewhere local to you, so that you guys can see these more often. And we would also inform you if you have babies on the way, which is always exciting. So thank you very much for listening, everyone. Have a great day. Tune in tomorrow and we will be looking at hedgehogs. So thank you very much and goodbye. Bye.